Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name's Laura and today we're just gonna have a little discussion. I changed the background because y'all are probably getting sick of my woods and fairy lights. So today we're gonna talk about how to ask your spirit guides for literally anything. And this is a game changer, guys. This is a really big step into learning mediumship and just everyday mediumship. Everyone has the ability to communicate with their spirit guides, and even if like you don't know what that looks like for you and you don't know what your spirit guides are or anything, you could still communicate with them, and I'll tell you how. So basically, how you ask them for anything is simply by asking them for anything, okay? So like, for example, say that you really need clarity and advice on how to improve your relationship with someone, and you think that you would benefit from whatever your spirit guides have to say and you're interested in what they have to say. All you simply have to do is find a little quiet moment by yourself, and you don't even have to get into like a trance or anything or do meditation. You can literally just do this anytime when you just have a quiet moment to yourself, even if you're on the toilet. Like, I always talk to my spirit guides when I'm on the toilet, like it doesn't matter. And just simply say out loud or in your head, I usually do it out loud, "Hey spirit guides, whoever you are, can you help give me advice and clarity and direction on my relationship and how I can improve it? I would appreciate any advice you give me. And of course, I am only accepting advice and answers and clarity from love and light for the highest good of everyone involved. Thank you." So there are several aspects of that, right? All of them are very important. Number one, you're asking your question directly and just stating what's on your mind. And you can even talk to them a little bit. Like, you can explain, like, I'm having this problem, blah, blah, blah. Can you help me, get clarity on all of this? So don't be afraid of how long you're talking. Don't be afraid of what you tell your spirit guides, because at the end of the day, they're essentially like your best friends, and that's how they want to be treated, like your best friends. So doing that is important, and then also thanking them is important and showing that gratitude towards them, because they don't have to help you. They want to help you. So definitely show gratitude for that, and it also humbles you. Don't just think that, the universe or your spirit guides are just like your personal little things you can boss around. Like, you have to understand, even if you don't really feel it and you're not 100% sure if you believe in spirit guides, you have to understand that they are spirits and they do deserve respect, and they really are like your friends. And you wouldn't just tell your friend like, oh, do this for me, do that for me, I need this advice from you. Like, you want to say thank you for everything you do, and if there's anything else you need to tell me or whatever, let me know, or anything you want to guide me towards, you're more than welcome to. And then the third, and this is probably one of the most important things that you have to do every time you ask your spirit guides. In my days, I have forgotten to do this at certain points, and it caused a lot of confusion for me, and that is clarifying every time you're doing mediumship or asking your spirit guides for something that you want advice for your greatest good, the greatest good of all, and in love and light. Because when you're tapping into that spiritual realm, you don't know what you're tapping into. You could say my spirit guides, and one of your spirit guides might be like a negative entity. You don't know. And that's why it's very important to clarify that you are asking for advice or changes or whatever for the greatest good, for love and light. Because, they could give you advice that totally doesn't make sense, that leaves you more confused, all that jazz. And it's not really your spirit guides doing that. That's when you're connecting with negative entities, okay? Because they can come through because you're opening that spiritual door for spirit to enter your life and to give you advice and whatever you're asking for, right? So not only can your spirit guides come through that, but negative entities can do that. So when all you simply have to do, and I don't want to scare you guys, all you have to do is say, for the greatest good, loving answers and energy only, things like that. And once you say it, it's done. It's contract. You don't have to worry about negative entities coming through once you make that intention, because it's like, you know, spirits can't hurt you unless you give them permission. They can't come into your life unless you give them permission. So that's why you want to say in love and light and all that jazz. So yeah. Next, what happens? You're not going to see a spirit guide walking in your room and saying, this is everything you need to know. Why? Because that would freak you out. And in love and light, your spirit guides, they simply cannot freak you out or scare you because, you know, that's not their energy. Their energy is loving and caring, and therefore, they're not going to be able to come into your environment in a way that's going to scare you because it's like the energy doesn't connect in that way. Does that make sense? So that's why, like, if you're like thinking your house is haunted and it's very scary and frightening and you're wondering if it's like a deceased loved one, it's probably not a deceased loved one because they're not going to try to do anything that would scare you. Okay? Just keep that in mind. That's a little side note. For another day, we'll do a discussion on that. But after that, they will bring you your advice or whatever you asked for in the different forms. One, just a knowing that comes to you, mental clarity. Two, they could connect you to something in your environment that gives you the advice, the answers, or the clarity that you were looking for. For example, if you were asking for relationship advice, you might be just scrolling through the internet and then you see like a blog post, an article online that contains like some of the best advice that you would need right in that moment, and it's almost like divinely guided. Or maybe you're guided to a YouTube video that tells you exactly what you need to know in that moment. They could also give you an intuitive urge to do something. Like you might ask that question and then be like, I feel like watching a pick a card reading on YouTube. Let me go peruse YouTube for a nice pick a card reading, and then the advice and answers comes through in that way. Or maybe you have the intuitive urge to read a particular book, and when you're reading that book, the advice comes through in that way. Or maybe later that night, you're watching a TV show and the characters are in a certain predicament that reminds you of your predicament, and you know, it gets resolved, and then that gives you the clarity, you know? So angels and spirit guides, whoever you're connecting with, they can deliver you answers in many different ways. It could just be through your own brain, like just kind of getting a vibe. Another way they can do it is just the situation you're asking about just resolves itself over time. Usually the answers you're asking for when you're talking to your spirit guides, they will come through within that day or the next couple of days. Anything longer than that, no, not really. Yeah, when you ask your spirit guides for something, you usually get clarity that day or the next 2 days, I would say. That's like usually it. Is there anything else I need to talk about? Yeah, that's it. That's how you ask your spirit guides for anything. And don't be afraid to ask them for smallest of things. Like, for example, and I know not everyone's going to agree with me on this, I have this belief that fairies are real and they're really like in the spiritual realm. I always ask them to help me find something I lost. Like if I lose my keys, I'll be like, hey fairies, I love you guys. Can you help me find my keys? You're the best, thanks. And then usually after I ask them, I'll find it within like 30 seconds after searching for like 20 minutes. It's weird, but yeah, you can ask them for anything big or small, and remember, they're like your friends. Treat them with respect. Don't abuse the power of asking them for anything. And by don't abuse it, I just mean show gratitude, okay? And always make sure that you're clarifying that you're asking for love and light. Another way you could ask for the greatest good of all is saying, like, say you need help. Maybe you're asking them, like, hey, spirit guides, I'm trying to really, like, date this one person. Can you help me do that and help me, you know, progress the situation in love and light for the greatest good of all? But you should also add on to that the intention of, if this isn't for my greatest good, then don't allow it to happen. You know what I mean? Just always keep that in mind. Sometimes the things you ask for is not in your greatest good, and there's a better path available to you, and your spirit guides can see that. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes the things you're asking for might not manifest because your spirit guides love you, and they're not going to manifest something that is not good for you. Okay, and that's about it. I'm glad you guys are here and you watch this quick little video, asking your spirit guides for literally anything is life-changing and will offer so much clarity in your life. It's like they're friends that are always there to give you what you need or to help you in your situation. And even as a medium and an intuitive, I sometimes forget to use this, and it's like they're always here. And a lot of the times when I do tarot readings or oracle readings, they're always there to remind people that, you know, they're here, use us, ask us for help, because the thing is, they can't interfere on your life unless it's like life or death, okay? Like, they're not going to interfere on your karma and your decision making because you were gifted with free will. So they're not going to come into your life and change things up. You know, the experiences, good and bad, you technically are a vibrational match to them and on some level agree to all the experiences that you have in your life. So they're not going to interfere with that unless you ask them to, okay? So yeah, they're great, and that's about all I have to say. Thank you guys for joining me. Comment your thoughts and feelings down below. If you ever did this before and have any stories or experiences that really prove to you that this is real, I'd love to hear them in the comment box. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video, share this video. It helps out way more than you realize. And if you want a personal psychic reading with me one-on-one, the link to that is in the description box. Thank you. Bye.